Hey, this is Mr. Frazier. Hopefully you understand that these are the notes that I gave out in class. If you need them, go ahead and pause it here. Start copying these notes. And then after you pause it here, unpause it, and finish copying the rest. All right, so this is all of the questions you're supposed to ask yourself when you're doing the work for this section. Hopefully you understand that when we're trying to solve a system, that means we're trying to be looking for a point. That means your answer has to be an X and a Y. You're not just stopping for one, you're looking for both. Okay? If you don't have an X or a Y, that means you don't have an answer. The lines aren't going to touch. This point is also known as the break-even point. A lot of this information is used on the Carnegie software as well. This is Chapter 6. This is the majority of the semester exam. So knowing how to do this is really important for you to be successful on the exam. Remember, the exam is 25% of your final grade in this class for the first semester. All right, so we're going to go over what we did on page 389 out of our textbook. And it starts with understanding, do we have fractions or decimals? Because we need to get rid of those first. And in the first problem that we're dealing with, we don't. Okay, so it starts with 2x plus y equals 8. So I don't have any fractions or decimals. And this one is 3x minus y equals 7. And I don't have any fractions or decimals. So the first step is, do I have any fractions or decimals? No. Second step is, do I need to change this to a form? No. It's already in standard form. X and y are on the same side. So because it's already in standard form, I can go ahead and use elimination. So the next thing would be, do I have any opposites? Or do I need to make opposites? In this case, I already have opposites. I have y and negative y. They're opposite of each other. So I don't need to make opposites. I already have them. So the next step would be to add straight down. These cancel. And then when you add straight down, you get this. So go ahead and pause it. Do the rest of the problem. All right, now that you're back, hopefully you divided by 5, and you get x equals 3. Are you finished with the solving of the system? No, you're not, because you need an answer for x, and you need an answer for y. So now you have to follow the next step, which is solve and plug this number back into one of the original problems. Which problem do you want to use? It does not matter. But I would tell you to start using the ones that have the smaller numbers. So then I write the problem. Okay. You go ahead and pause the video and finish the rest. And then start it up again and see whether you did the work right or not. Okay, so you're back. This would be 6 plus y equals 8. Hopefully you know you get rid of the 6 by minusing 6. And you get y equals 2. So the solving for my system would be 3, 2. All right, next problem. 4x plus 3y equals 24. 3x plus y equals negative 2. Do I need to get rid of any decimals or fractions? The answer would be no. Do I need to change this to another form? The answer would be no. It's already in standard form. X and y are on the same side. So now I'm looking for opposites. I do not have any opposites. 4 is not the opposite of 3. 3 is not the opposite of 1. And 24 is negative 2 we don't care about. We're looking for the opposites with the variables. But these aren't opposites. Hopefully you know the opposite of negative 2 would be positive 2, and the opposite of 24 would be negative 24. Anyway, so now I look at, do I want to make opposites with 3 and 4? Remember, we have to use multiplication. So that means, can I change 3 into 4 by multiplying? Hopefully you know the answer is no. So now I look at the other one, 3 and 1. So I need a 3 and a negative 3. So can I change the 1 to negative 3? Hopefully you say yes. I would multiply the whole problem by negative 3. Okay, so I'm left with 4x plus 3y equals 24. Multiply the whole bottom, it would be negative 9x plus negative 3y equals 6. So now I do have opposites, 3 and negative 3. I can go ahead and add down. Go ahead and pause it, finish out the whole rest of the problem, and then come back and see if your work matches. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you've divided by negative 5. You get x equals negative 6. Then you should have plugged it back into one of the two problems. I'm going to tell you I'm going to use the second problem this time because these numbers are smaller. And the solution would be negative 6, 16. All right, again, finding our opposites. Do I want the opposite of x's or do I want the opposite of y's? Now, could you have found the opposite of x's? Yes, you could have. You could have used 12 and negative 12, but the numbers are going to be bigger. It's more likely you're going to make a mistake. You will still get the same answers. In this case, you would have gotten the answer for x first or y first, and then you would have plugged it in and gotten the answer for x second. In this case, it was just much easier to deal with the smaller numbers. All right, so here's the last problem. Okay, again, do I have any fractions and decimals? No. Do I need to change forms? No. I'm just trying to find opposites now or make opposites. So, am I going to use 5 and 3 and make opposites or 3 and 2? Hopefully you know I'm going to pick 3 and 2 because they're smaller. So if I'm going to change them so that they need to be the same number, the number would be 6. But one of them's got to be 6. The other one's got to be negative 6. So to multiply this problem by 2, that'll give me 6. Well, if I multiply that number, I got to do all the numbers. Okay? And on the bottom, I need negative 6. So I'd multiply by negative 3. If I multiply one number by negative 3, I have to multiply all the numbers by negative 3. So then I write down the new problems. 6x plus 10y equals 34. Go ahead and pause it and do the second one. After you do the second problem, then add down, solve for the variable, plug it back in, solve for the other variable, and then write down your system answer. Okay, so go ahead and pause it. All right, welcome back. So when I multiply the bottom, I get this. I add down. I get my answer. I plug it back in. Hopefully you understand I picked the second problem because the numbers are smaller. I could have picked this problem. I'm going to get the same answer no matter which one I pick, but I don't want to make a mistake with the math, so I picked the smaller one. And then I write my answer as a system. Remember, I always put the x first in the x spot. I always put the y second in the y spot. All right, now as a bonus, because you're actually watching the video, I'm going to go through one of the harder homework problems. I'm going to go, and it's on from 6-2. Remember, bonus is 6-3 and 6-4. In 6-3 and 6-4 practice, you get to pick whichever way you want to do, so you can do them all elimination. So I'm going to pick problem number 14 from the homework, and I'll probably do 13 and 14, simply because one of them deals with decimals and the other one deals with fractions, but you should be able to do these with ease. The problem most of you have is you won't do the first step, which is get rid of your fractions and decimals first. So when I look at this, I ask myself, do I have any fractions or decimals? And hopefully you know that the answer is yes. So I got to get rid of all the decimals. Well, that means I move the decimal one place. So if I move the decimal one place here, I have to move it one place for all of them. So this would be 15x plus 12y equals 6. And then I have to do the same on the bottom. I got to get rid of the decimals. I only need to move it one place again. So I move it one place for all of them, remembering that the decimal is behind a whole number. So this would be 8x plus a negative 2y equals 20. So now I've gotten rid of all the decimals. Now I need to put it in the right form. It already is in stated form. Next is, do I have opposites? I don't. But it's going to be really easy for me to make opposites, because when I look at negative 2, all I need to do is multiply that by 6, and I'll get negative 12. And I can cross out the 12s. Okay? So, I got to transform it again. Multiplying the whole problem here by 6. Okay, so that means I kind of ran out of room, but that's supposed to be 120. So I'm going to rewrite this problem down here. Okay, now I add down, and I'm left with 63x 126. Divide by 2, or excuse me, I divide by 63. I get x equals 2. Now I'm going to turn around and plug it back into the original problem. Now, it doesn't matter which one of these I pick, but I would tell you I'm going to pick the one with the smaller numbers. Okay. Now, could I put it in here? Yes, I could have, but I would have had the decimals again. Could I put it in here? Yes, I could have, but I would have had the decimals again. So I'm going to put it in this one, because this is 8x and negative 2y and 20. So I put it into that problem. And my system problem would be all this work becomes repetitive. The more you do it, the easier it is to remember your steps. Okay, I'll do number 14 because 14 was a fraction. But getting rid of the fractions and getting rid of the decimals should be an easy chore by now. Most of you just don't practice it enough. Like I tell you guys all the time, you're not going to become an excellent basketball player just because you watch the NBA. It doesn't happen. You actually have to practice. So if you don't practice enough, nothing's going to be successful. Whether it be a sport, whether it be a musical instrument, it doesn't matter what it is. Unless you practice, you're not going to set yourself apart from everybody else. All right. So in this problem, we have a fraction. And how we get rid of a fraction is we multiply the entire problem by the denominator. In the top, we'd multiply the whole problem by 4. Okay? That's because 2 goes into 4. So I multiply the whole top by 4. And in the bottom problem, I'm going to multiply this whole problem by 3. Correct. So 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4. Now the reason I picked 4 is because 2 goes into 4. I can't pick 2. And I can't pick 2 different numbers. I have to pick a number that's the same size as the biggest. Or bigger. Now I could have picked 8, but all my numbers would just get big. So I picked 4. So that means this is 3x, 2y. That's because 4 times 1 divided by 2 is 2. 4 times 1 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. Equals negative 3, because these all cancel out, and this one changes to a 2. Then I do the same on the bottom, and I'm left with 2x plus 2y equals 2. Now this becomes really, really easy, because I'm really close to having opposites here. The only thing I have to do is make one of these what? Negative. If I make one of the numbers in that row negative, what do I have to do to all the other signs? Hopefully you know it is change them. So this one becomes easy to do. I don't even need to rewrite the problem. I can make that negative 2, negative 2, negative 2. I've changed all the problems. There you go. Now I have opposites, and I add straight down. X equals negative 5. Then I plug it back into one of the 2 original problems. It does not matter if I pick this one, this one, this one, or this one. So I'm going to pick the easiest one, which would be right here, which is negative 2 plus negative 2, negative 2. Could I have picked this problem? I certainly could. It would have been I'm going to go ahead and solve both of them so that you can see it doesn't matter which one you pick, you should get the same answer. So my solution to my system would be negative 5, negative 4. Now I'm going to do the other problem over here so I can show you that it doesn't matter which one of these you pick, you're going to get the same answer. Did something wrong. Both of these should be the same answer. So somewhere along the line, Mr. Frazier did his arithmetic wrong.
What?
Here we go. Mistake's right there. I was supposed to put in a negative 5. Mr. Frazier put in a positive 5. So this is where I'm talking about. You have to pay attention to your signs, or else it's very easy to make a mistake. I would have not caught this if I hadn't double-checked my work by doing it both ways. Okay? So now I'm going to go back and fix it, and I should be able to see, oh, wait, here we go. Negative 15, that means add 15. That means this number would be 12, and y would be negative 6. Or, excuse me, positive 6. Well, now I'm going to go back and fix this one. This becomes a positive 10, which means this would be minus 10, which means this would be a negative 12, which means negative 2 divided by negative 12 is a negative 6. No, 2 negatives make a positive, sorry. Positive 6 again. Negative 12 divided by negative 2 is positive 6. Okay, so understanding, you have to be very careful because it's easy to make a mistake when you're substituting things back in. You always want to double check your work. So please make sure you always double check your work. When you get one answer and you plug it back in, double check to make sure the one answer you plug back in is the right answer. Because both of these should be the same. All right, thank you very much. Have a good day.